My name is Hauser. Most people call me Sigi, and I'm lecturer for ecology and fauna at the Center for Rainforest Studies here at the School for Field Studies. This is one of many centers of the School for Field Studies where undergraduate students from the United States can spend an entire semester. They learn about the local environment here in Australia. They get to know the community and they get involved in conservation aspects of this area. Some of my students work on the Lumholtz Tree-Kangaroo, which is an endemic species, a very special, iconic species for this environment and very important for the community because it attracts a lot of visitors. But we don't know much about this animal. And the tree kangaroos are very strange animals, I have to say, because they are kangaroos indeed, but the tree kangaroos are different. So they belong to the same group, but they are different. Anatomically, they are different because they have longer front legs, shorter hind legs, so they're designed to climb up the trees. So they're living in the canopy of our rainforests. The two students I had last year, Hauser and Erin Emmons, they ventured out to look at the distribution of the Lumholtz Tree-Kangaroo. And it was amazing. They just brought up such a nice project, beautiful maps that can tell us a lot where these animals are.
It is my pleasure to introduce to you Erin, Emmons, and Wesley Hauser.
This red box region that you see is the wet tropics bioregion where we were living and where we focused our research. There are a variety of environmental threats now facing that region due to land clearing for agriculture, logging, and mining. And as a result, the area was declared a World Heritage Site.
So now let's dive right into our research. What did we do while we were there? And to do that, to begin, I'm excited to introduce Lumholtz's Tree-Kangaroo. As you can see there, it's very charismatic. It's classified as an arboreal foliivore.
So the focus of our directed research project was putting Lumholtz Tree-Kangaroo on the map and using distribution patterns and habitat preferences to predict areas where the Lumholtz Tree-Kangaroo could be inhabiting but haven't yet been identified by surveys. So we were able to use the habitat features that were most strongly linked to LTK presence to identify predictor variables of where LTKs may be inhabiting but haven't yet been identified for future surveys.
And on that note, the really cool thing about our research is that it wasn't being conducted in a vacuum. There were tons of implications for conservation. This information will help inform conservation status of the species for the future, and that'll help determine what types of levels of protection are instituted to ensure its survival. We were immersed in this culture and in this local community. It was a phenomenal experience. And so for me in particular, that local community connection very much influenced my study abroad experience. The Australian communities that I had talked with about some of this very pertinent research very much grabbed a hold of our ideas and get some of these research results into some practical applications. And that was, it very much showed me that what we're doing is relevant and what we're doing is empowering.
It was just incredible to be sitting in the classroom one day learning about some aspect of an ecosystem in the Australian rainforest, and then the next day to hop in the van and drive somewhere on the Atherton Tablelands to actually see that in the environment around us. But also just in your walk from your cabin down to breakfast in the morning, you got to actually see the things that you were learning about, and it was an incredible hands-on visual experience.
So they did an amazing job with providing this baseline for future research. And in some areas, we know there's good habitat, but we haven't got any records from the tree kangaroo. So this is now the next step. With the next students, I go there and I see, are tree kangaroos there? We simply haven't seen them. There are rarely any people in these areas. If not, what is missing? What factor is missing? And then we can also translate it into research for the future.